In this second video to help biomedical engineering students to write lab reports, we will consider the contents and sections of a lab report. The main contents are title page, abstract, introduction, theory, methodology, results and analysis, discussion, conclusion, references and appendices. We will now look at the content of each of these. First, the title page. This should give the name of your experiment, which should be short, clear and informative. The page should also include your name and names of your lab partners, and finally, the date when you conducted the experiment. Next is the abstract. Your abstract should be no longer than 250 words. It should include the purpose of the experiment, then the key findings, the significant points of the discussion, and the major conclusions. Also include a brief reference to theory or methodology, but no references. Next is the introduction. This gives your objective, explaining the overall purpose of the experiment. You should explain the background to the experiment, including the relevant theory or theories. If necessary, describe any specialized equipment. Also, if necessary, justify the experiment by explaining its importance. The relevant theory or theories should be explained in your own words to show that you understand them. References to the sources where you found the theories should be included here. You should also give relevant mathematical equations and formulas and define any symbols used. The next section is the methodology. This section should first name, or describe if necessary, the apparatus used and the test specimens. Then the experimental procedures should be written in your own words. You should also include schematic diagrams, each one with a written description. Again, references are needed. In the results and analysis section, present the analyzed data in tables or other appropriate figures. These figures need to be labeled clearly. Write a description of the data and highlight the key findings. Present your calculations and describe the statistical methods used and the results of any statistical analysis. In the discussion section, you need to interpret your results. You should describe observed patterns or relationships and compare your findings with the relevant theory. If there are any differences between your findings and the theory, you should explain them. Finally, explain any limitations and possible errors in your experiment. The conclusion is the last section of the main report. In the conclusion, you summarize the main points from the discussion. Show how you have achieved the objectives mentioned in the introduction and explain the significance of the findings. After the conclusion is the list of references. All sources cited in the report should be listed here. This should include references for the theory, methodology, and diagrams. The raw data gathered in the experiment should be included in appendices. Appendices should have informative titles, and you should refer to them in the text of your report. That concludes this video on the contents of lab reports.